All right. So this video is going to generally just give you a tour of Haiku and where you'll be working with learners in Haiku. When you log in, this is where you'll land at the home page, and you can always get back to this place by clicking on home. I'm going to show you a few things that you'll find here. Across the top you can click on this and it will show you a list of your classes, or you can search your classes there. You can click on your avatar in the corner. It might just be an image at this point, but when you click on that, you can then set in your settings in your profile, you can change your photo and you can set up your notifications. So some things you can do in there that are interesting to you. If you look down along the bottom, you'll see the Go and People and Classes menu. The People menu will be really helpful for you. This is the place where you can access the two workspaces, the class and the ePortfolio for your learner really quickly and efficiently. Along the left-hand side of your home screen, you'll also see a list of all your classes. That's 3 places or more that you can get to your classes from the home screen. So it should be pretty straightforward in terms of finding that information. Okay, so I'm going to act as the SEC test, and I'm going to show you how this SEC would engage with her learner and her work on a weekly basis using the class and the learner's ePortfolio. Also to say, this link here, the ePortfolio link, do not click on it from your home screen. That is for your ePortfolio, not for your students. So when you find yourself clicking on there and you find yourself in there, just go back to home so you can get out, because to connect to your learner's ePortfolios, you have to go a different route. All right. So if I received a notification in my email, which we can set up in another video, I would come in here and I would, if it was a notification that KETIS, weekly communication had been completed for KETIS for this week 1, say, that I would come in here and I would go down to People and I would type KETIS. Now you'll see a list of names. Those are SECs that you were in the how-to class with. So I type his name and I click on his name, and here I can see I have access to 2 things for KETIS. One is his class. So the class is where the SEC does all their documentation. So you'll have access to the budget, the ILP, all the tracking and assessing of learning will happen there. You can set up announcements or welcome or content blocks for your family if you have something you need to share with them there. So this is a place for you. This is also a place for you to store case notes when you're speaking with service providers support providers, that you're able to add case notes that only you can see in this class, so you can keep that documentation all in one place. The ePortfolio is the place where you're going to use engage in the weekly communication, the weekly back and forth with your learner, family, and SP if that's part of the plan. So in the ePortfolio is all the weekly back and forth as well as the weekly learning hours. So let's go there first. I would come in and here I would see my learner KETIS. This is his ePortfolio. And the first page on the top left-hand side here is his weekly hours. So in here I would see that week 1 had been filled out, or I would be able to fill it out if I had done a direct contact, for example. Then as you can see along that side, you have all of the weeks laid out. So the family would go in for week 1, or the support provider would go in for week 1 and enter the reflections of the Observing for Learning in week 1. And so here a parent has included their O4L here, and then as SEC I would come in and I would add my response to that thing. And then you can see that you can also have the SP or the SEA involved in here as well. So that's the ePortfolio. So that's where I'm going to do that weekly back and forth with the parent and family and service provider. Then when I want to get back to my class for this learner, there's a few choices here. I can choose from this menu right here. I can click on the learner, or I can go down to people and then search again and choose and go to their class. Now, this is a really straightforward, direct way. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. For the purposes of this video, I just want to show you how to use the people menu to do this, so that you know how if you ever need to. So I would type the learner's name again, click on his name, click on classes, and you'll see his class will show up. And then I'm going to choose go to class. So it's a few more clicks here than in that menu at the top, but it gets you to the same place eventually. Okay, so this is Ketis's class. Along the side here, the left-hand side, you can see all of the pages that are set up for you to use. The ones that have gray circles here are unpublished, meaning only the teacher can see that in the class. The family cannot view anything that doesn't have an orange circle. So the orange means the family can view it. So at the beginning of the year, the ILP page will not be published until you've completed that and uploaded the ILP, and then you can publish that page and it will be viewable to the family. So there's a few things here for the SE use, creating your learner docs. That's just a link to the community site. This is a link to your self and support check, which you'll add so that you can engage in the weekly work of, or weekly documentation of completing your work. The welcome page is a place where you can add content blocks if you have a reminder that you want to leave for this family, or if you have an announcement for all of your families, you can create it in one class and copy that block to all of the rest of your classes. The family how-to guides are simply instructions on how to use Haiku, and those are published to the family, so it's how they can know how to get around. The I'm done page, now this is where you're going to get your notification that the family has completed their weekly communication. They're going to come in here, and at the bottom they're going to post a comment that says, week 1 done, and post comment. And when they do that, we're going to set up your notifications so that you get an email. I think you can choose a daily or instant email when somebody posts a comment, so that you know when that's been submitted, so you can keep track of that. The activation activities menus are the planned activation activities, so that we can make sure that we're activating all learners in all learning areas, which the family, of course, will have access to, and that includes links to Haiku classes. And then along the bottom here is the template, which is where you'll document when they've completed the activation. The ILP, the budget, and the big picture tracking, which are part of assessing and are the part of the document creation and assessing. You'll also up here notice in the Assess tab that you'll click on Grades, and this is where you'll do the actual assessing of the learning standards here. But that's another video. And anytime you want to get back to this page with your list on the left-hand side, you just click Pages and you'll always come back to this space. Along here you'll have the confidential docs, which will be a link to the actual confidential docs. Those aren't quite ready yet, but when they are, you can load them in there. And then these are the case notes pages, and you can create more pages. See up here, add page. You can add more pages down here based on the actual support providers your learner has, or you can change the names of the existing ones. You could delete them if they're not needed. You can also include the learner's or the support provider's name here to help you remember who they're working with, if that helps your flow. So this is the place for you to do your weekly work in terms of documenting or tracking and assessing, and documenting case notes. So that is how you get around in Haiku, and how you connect or how you work in the weekly communication and in your documentation.